Welcome to a new video from Sevan Motors. This video is totally different from all the other videos I made so far. That's because it's not something that you need to know. It's the whole process of repairing an automatic gearbox of a Mercedes A-Class. Unfortunately, it has bad reputation, but this bad reputation was given by bad people, bad mechanics, who don't know how to deal with it. So you need to watch the video from the beginning till the end, and more important than the technical side is the talking, which I'm about to do. The talking is the knowledge. If you don't have the knowledge, the technical side is useless. You need to understand what you're dealing with. If you're attempting to repair an automatic gearbox, first of all, you need to have the knowledge, the skills to do the job, and some good tools to help you accomplish the job. Let's talk about the automatic gearbox generally, why they break. Some of the problems are induced, like if you don't warm up the engine before you start driving, eventually will break the gearbox, and I explained that in my previous video if they are published in sequence. Because the pressure is so high when the oil is cold, and eventually breaks the metal inside the gearbox, and this is what I'm dealing with at the moment. Look at this car. This is a 2001 A-Class. I'll remove the engine and the gearbox. This is the engine, and this is the gearbox that I removed. I will open it to replace the first gear drum that's cracked. These are the tools that I'm going to use, and these are the bits and pieces that I removed. This is the tripod that I'll be using, and let's talk about the difference between an automatic gearbox and a manual gearbox. It's the same difference between, if you know about electrics, the difference between a series connection and parallel connection. In the series connection, if one of the bulbs, let's say, fail, the whole system will fail. Like the old style, if you remember, maybe 50 years ago, 40 years ago, the Christmas tree bulbs, they were actually small bulbs connected together in series. When one blows, the whole lot fails, and you have to find that one that broke the link. I like the parallel connection. When one fails, the rest keep working. So have a look again at this gearbox and see what I'm going to say now. If this is your gearbox, this gearbox is as reliable as the weakest part in it. It is as reliable as the weakest part in it, which means that all the components have to be perfect. If something fails, the whole system will fail. Not even the gearbox. If the gear selector fails, the gearbox will not function. So the whole system has to be perfect. You cannot say, I think I've done it, or you cannot say, you cannot open an automatic gearbox looking for the problems. Before you open it, you should have something that you expect to find when you open it, like broken first gear, broken second gear, something that when you open it, you replace it. Don't open an automatic gearbox looking for the problem, thinking, let me open it and see if I find something. No, that's wrong. That's totally wrong. You ruin it. The skills you can gain from the internet, the tools, you can buy them. The knowledge, if you don't have the knowledge, that's your problem. The knowledge is there. It's up to you to get the knowledge. So the people who give bad reputation about the Mercedes A-Class, they don't know about them. This is why, instead of blaming themselves and saying, I'm a bad mechanic, they say it's a bad car. They say Mercedes is bad manufacturer, Germany is a bad manufacturer of cars, and all Europe is bad, the whole world is bad, but they are good. A bad mechanic thinks he's good, and the whole world is bad. how could this car be bad if all my business is based on these cars? I don't repair anything else. I just repair a car that many people hate. Anyway, this is not the point. I'm trying to talk this part. I'm not very good in talking, because talking is more important than the actual rebuilding of this gearbox, only in this particular case. Because as I said earlier, it has to be perfect. You need to watch this video or keep it aside as a reference to get back to it whenever you like, because nothing in this video is random. Nothing is random. I've done it hundreds of times, and every time I do it exactly the same way. Where I put my left hand, where I put my feet, how I handle things. Even if I have to do the same thing twice, I do it hundreds of times. So keep this video, and I'll try to focus on everything. The problems I met in the past, I'll concentrate on it, because I cannot induce faults to show you. But as I'm doing the job, and I don't want to make it long and boring, I'll mention to you you can have problems there and how to deal with it. Play it 2 times, play it 20 times, but the answer will be in this video. I hope you enjoy it now. Now the gearbox stopped rocking. It's steady. Not just steady and it's not rocking. It has to be level as possible. Like, don't tilt it and make it steady. No, it has to be level as well. It's very important, and I'll talk about that before, and I'll talk about it again once I open it. Now I'm gonna remove this. First thing first, I need to remove the torque converter. Now be very careful, this edge is so sharp. Don't try to remove it with your hand. You have to remove it with something straight, and I will use these 2 long screws. You can get them longer as well. And I'll put it here in this drip tray out of the way. There's another bolt that goes here from the back that I had to remove before starting the video, because it's not on the same side. Now the next step is very important. Now to split the 2 halves of the gearbox, to split them open, it has to come out, they have to come out dead straight. Don't try to wiggle it or pry it. Don't use a pry bar. Pry bar will ruin the gearbox, and it will make it extremely difficult to put back. So don't use a screwdriver or anything to try to pry it out of each other. So the best way I do it, I put one hand here and one hand here, and then lift it up. I snatch it a little bit until it releases itself. Now if it doesn't come out easy, then you lift it from one side and tap it gently from the other side with a soft mallet, with the wooden side, like that. But I'll try it without the mallet first. Yeah, it's off. Now you can wiggle it by hand, not with any tool. Now let's go through this. very often when you remove this part of the gearbox, you can hear something rattling, something dropped. It did drop, but it didn't rattle, which is we have here this spring and this lever. Now the reason why I said we have to put it out of park, because this park here, this lever here, pushes this, and if you remove it when it's in place, you won't be able to put it back in the same position. You have to put it out of park first, like that. Right. The second, why I said that it has to be level, dead level, like water, because we have here this gear, and also all of them, they have very little clearance. So yeah, this is one other thing. The clearance in the automatic gearbox is a lot smaller than a manual gearbox, which means it's very difficult, more difficult to put together like that, because there's no much play. Under this gear here, this gear is like a transfer gear between the input shaft and the reverse gear. And also you have here, this is the parking cogs. Underneath it there's some washers. This is why it slips a little bit. If it's not exactly where it belongs, it would be difficult to fit back. This here, we have this like shaft that goes in here. So this shaft has to be obvious. There's no play whatsoever there. It has to be exactly the same place. Right. To put it back, obviously these two bits have to go on the other part before fitting it back. And also be careful, there's another washer there here that sometimes drops. You don't want to lose that. Right, this bearing here in the middle shaft, it goes only one way, this way. It doesn't go this way. You can see the difference. This plastic here, the smaller circle is on top. This is the correct direction. There's another one here, but you can fit either way. Now, these three shafts are connected together like this. You cannot lift any of them on its own. You have to lift all of them at the same time, like that, interconnected like this. So I want to make space for it first. Let me put this out of the way. Okay, what I'm going to do, I'll remove them and put them here. Now the next step is I'll lift them up something like half an inch, only half an inch, because this, the diff and this gear also are interconnected with the shaft, so all of them need to go up a little bit. Once it goes up about half an inch, then I'll be able to remove these two. You can wiggle it a little bit. Okay, now they're out of the bottom bearings. Now I can remove this. Now be careful with this because there are washers underneath it. Now what I found, sometimes there is 2 and sometimes there's 3 washers. Just put whatever you found. This one has 1 washer and this spacer. Now all 3 needs to go out together. Now when you lift them, don't just lift them straight, you lift them and push them in at the same time, because all the weight is there. If you lift them straight, it will flare. But if you push them in, you'll hold them tight together. And try to do this quick so you don't get tired. Okay. Now I know while this shaft is in its position here, you can see the drum that you replace. You can say, yeah, I can use a puller, take it out and put the other one. And I've done it before. But the problem is, you're straining something and the clearance is so small, something will start touching another. And you'll end up with the first gear clicking, will make clicking sound, because I think it will be coming from either the thrust bearing, or you see where they interfere, there's no much play, and that little tapping here will affect that, will make something touch. But luckily this clicking sound will disappear after a while. I prefer to do it outside. There's a clip here that needs a special tool to remove. It's not really a special tool, but this could be frustrating sometimes. If you don't have the tool, it will be difficult to remove, and you need to practice as well. I struggled a few times with this, but after that became second nature. There you go, it's out. It's like this. Now you can use a puller, or because this is, it's gone in the bin anyway, you can tap it out. It's not that tight. Just tap it out of the way with the mallet. There you go. See, this problem could be avoided if you warm up the engine before you put it in gear. I know it's supposed to be idiot proof, but it's not, and no one will tell you that, and people learn the hard way. Just warm up the engine before you put it in gear. Whatever car you drive, all automatics are the same. I mean, the same principle, that oil pushes metal, metal pushes oil, and then oil pushes oil, and so on. So the oil pressure is so high when the engine is cold. Try to avoid that. There is a washer here, thick washer. Sometimes it sticks in the drum, and there's a thrust bearing here. Make sure that they don't stick. Here, I don't know if you can see it, there is, no, not here, at the bottom. There's a thrust bearing, and also it should have a thick washer, and I think that thick washer is stuck underneath this shaft. I'll make sure it's there. I don't want it to drop. It might be a good idea to drain this so you can see what you're doing, but I know the thrust bearing is there and I can centralize it, align it with my hand. Now, one other thing before I forget. This drum here, sometimes this part here, when it breaks and it comes off completely and it shreds all over the gearbox, make sure that you collect all the broken bits to complete what's there. Because if you leave something still in the gearbox, it will block something and will cause more damage. Just make sure you collect all the broken parts if this comes off, and it does in some cases. Right. Now, the new drum, to fit the new drum, you can use press, which I don't have. I don't have the press anymore. I use a hammer and a socket. This socket here is, I don't know how many millimeters. It's 1 inch, exactly 1 inch, and it goes inside. You can see it's inside, not outside. If you put a socket too big, it can damage the edge here. This edge is so soft, you need to put something a little bit inside, just like this one here. And also I like to use this adapter to make sure that the pressure is spread all around, not focused in at one point. And also, when you put it like that and you start tapping this gently, put your fingers on here. You put your fingers on here when it's upside down, You can hear this, because you want to make sure that you make sure that the gear goes in here, all these teeth. This is these teeth here with the clutch plates, yeah. This is where this gear goes. You want to make sure that these teeth in this gear go inside the clutch, the clutch plates. So this is what you actually put your fingers here and keep doing that. You have to feel this little play all the time until it stops playing. Then you know that it's okay, and the groove here for the circlip will be visible. If not, then it's jammed, and take this, release it a little bit more again. Now the best thing, but let's say the best DIY way to support this is using something under here, like a rubber donut, a big rubber donut that I had. You know, that the thing that you put in the coil spring to raise the car? That's the best thing I found to use, but I don't have one now, and I'll have to improvise. Yes, this wheel is my improvisation. Yeah, perfect. Yeah, I think that's it. It's all done. Okay. Still not rocking. No, it is rocking. I need to secure it. Right. The circlip, let's put it back. Perfect. Now, this gasket is paper. Sometimes it breaks, but they cost about. It's very important that you remove the oil from some of the thread holes, otherwise you might have hydrolock and it can crack the casing. Just paper and make it pointed like that to catch the oil. I think it's about 3 of them. You need to have a rag handy. I don't have a rag, but I'll use lots of paper. It doesn't have to be totally dry, it will not leak. Don't worry, as long as it's not damaged, make sure it's not damaged and there's no oil in the holes. This one doesn't matter because it's there's no screw that goes in there. And I have to do the same in the other half as well. Now in this gearbox, luckily I didn't have to remove the control unit because it doesn't interfere with the gears. Unlike the CVT, yes, you have to remove the control unit from the CVT gearbox, otherwise you won't be able to remove the gears. Okay, now to put these back, I put them back the same way I took them out, but I will not fit them all the way in because I need to put the reverse gear and the diff. Also because they're quite heavy, so you have to do this job. Try to finish it quickly. I mean lifting, otherwise you can hurt your back. I mean don't keep holding them for too long. Okay, now I can put this. These two go here. And the gear. Now, these three shafts are still not sitting at the bottom inside the bearings. So I need to do that, you know, to wiggle them carefully. Now this is probably the most difficult part. It takes time, but it always works. Take your time and do it properly. Don't try to force it. Yeah, I think it's in now. Yeah, make sure that this spacer doesn't move out of its place. Right. And make sure this is on the side, out of the way, no oil in the holes, where the screws go, where the thread is, there shouldn't be any oil. Now this bearing can go either way here. This bearing this way up and this way down goes here. Right, the other cover. I'll put it here for the time being just to show you a few things. There is a washer here with 3 legs, but because there's oil, it just stays in its place. If it's dry, it will fall off because it will be upside down. If it falls off, just put a bit of Vaseline here or some thick oil. Now these go, you need to remove this out of the way. Put the spring first. Right. Now, the most difficult part of this job is putting this back on top of this. Remember, because the clearance is so tight, it has to be perfect. You cannot push it. Right, now one other thing. As I mentioned earlier, if the top part comes off easy, it will go in easy. If it comes off with difficulty, it will be very difficult to put back. And usually the difficulty you'll meet when putting the top half, it can happen because so many reasons. Either one of these shafts is not sitting all the way down and it's hanging off on top of a thrust bearing or something, or either you forgot to put this out of park. This bearing, this happens often actually, this bearing, see these rollers, one of them might come out a little bit and it stops the shaft from going in. Same thing here, you have to watch all these rollers, they're all in their place here. If one of them is out a little bit, and it happens all the time, just push it back with your hand, make sure they're all in, make sure that these are all in, and this is turning freely, and it's not rocking. Now, you need to centralize this as much as you can. If you're lucky like me, and have one of these shafts that I removed this shaft from a gearbox that I scrapped. So if you don't have it, just use any long socket with the same thickness like the shaft in the other half, obviously. Put it here to centralize it perfectly. So that will make your job a little bit easier. See, even the shaft is not going in easy. It should go easier than that. Okay, now I think we're ready to fit the top cover. Nothing loose, no oil on the edges. This is aligned perfectly. This is out of the way. Okay, try to see this through the hole to centralize the top part. Now the problem is always here in this part where that shaft is. So you make sure that this goes in first. Don't try to push it from anywhere else. The whole thing has to go down together. I always have this feeling that I forgot something. It made this specific sound like a thud to make sure, just to tell you that yes, it's all sitting comfortably. To double check, just put your finger or have a look at the joint where the gasket is. There's no gaps anywhere. It's perfect. Actually, I expected it to take a bit longer than that. But I mean, I wanted to show you a problem, and I want to show you how to deal with it. But it was very good. Remember, don't use pry bar. Never use pry bar. As I say, if this part doesn't come off, put your hand here and tap it with the mallet here until the whole thing goes up together, like clockwork, like watchmaking job. Right. All the rest is straightforward. Just put the screws, the hoses, the torque converter. Now the torque converter, actually I forgot to do something because I don't normally do it while I'm working. I wanted to do it to help the DIY mechanic. Is the torque converter fits inside here, inside the part that goes inside the oil seal. It actually interlocks like this with the oil pump, and you have to find the gap between the cog and the groove to go in like that. If it doesn't go in its place, the oil pump will break, and it did happen before. I saw this happening, not with me, with other people. So if you're confident, you don't need to make mark. If you want to make mark, what you do with the marker like this marker, make a mark on the torque converter where it's flush, or where it meets the gearbox, so you make sure when you fit it, it goes there. If it's not there, if it's higher, not even with half a centimeter, take it out and keep trying until it fits and it make a specific clunk. I'll do it now. I mean, I know I'll take it off again to fit the screws, but I'll do it now. It will not go in if you keep turning it. You have to take it out, in and out. You lift it and put it down until it goes in. That's it. You heard that. It's all in now. This is very important. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. If you have a question, put it in the comments. Like and subscribe, and if you have any question, I'm more than happy to answer.